You have the floor.
Thank you. Page 6, item 4. Another 4, Erika from Memphis West, has been marked absent. I was in the chamber last Thursday. Thank you.
Very well. Table office, kindly take note. Page 7. Yes?
Meeting. Since I was marked absent.
Very well. Table office, take note.
Gomado Yao, engineer.
Very well. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Yes.
Thank you. Page 9, 8, AIV. Report of the Auditor General Management and Utilization of the Common Fund. The spelling for utilization is in error, so if table office can take note and correct it. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Table office, kindly take note. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. And page 15. Honourable members, the business statement as corrected is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. Now let's turn to the official. Yes. Oh. The vote and proceedings of Thursday, 9th July 2026 is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. Let's turn to the official reports of Thursday, 2nd July 2026. Honourable members, is for your correction. Yes.
Speaker, I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Speaker, with the greatest respect, may I invite you to column 112, the very last paragraph. The member for Wejagbawi, the Honorable Jerry Ahmed, is the second deputy minority whip. It's not the second deputy minority chief whip. Thank you.
Very well. Table office, kindly take note. Any further correction? Any further correction? Honourable members, in the absence of any further correction, the official report of Thursday, 2nd July 2026, as corrected, is hereby adopted as the true record of proceedings. Yes, available leader.
No, Richard will take the business statement. Richard. So we can be acknowledging the visitors now.
Honourable members, I crave your indulgence to acknowledge the presence of our revered visitors. First on the list is students from Ashesi University, led by Albert Ajapong. He is a lecturer, and they are from Akuapim South constituency, the numbered 63. We also have Conference of Heads of Basic Schools, led by Mr. Omar Fuseni, chairman. They are from Sunyani East, they numbered 49. Honorable member for Sunyani East, are you in the house? We also have Grace Dew International School, led by Richard Beku, a teacher. They are from Ayawaso Central, they numbered 43. Then we have Pentecost Presbytery School from Kaswa. They are led by Ns. Obin, staff, representative. They are from Ewutu Senya East. They numbered 82. Then we have A.E. Kus Enima, led by Maxwell K. Asampana, a leader. They are from Kede, they numbered 7. We also have Bright International School, led by Azik Tete Amano, a teacher. They are from New Joben South. They numbered 70. Honorable members, on your behalf, I welcome our revered students and leaders to Parliament of the Republic of Ghana and urge them to have a fruitful visit. Once again, you are welcome and thank you for coming to visit us. Yes, available leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I want to take the business statement. The chairman of the committee is seriously engaged. So if my colleague will allow me to do the presentation for and on his behalf.
Yes, Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker, he may proceed.
Item number 7, business statement for the 9th week by Honorable Richard Achampong for the chairman of the Business Committee.
Mr. Speaker, thank you once again. Mr. Speaker, the committee met today, Tuesday, 14th July 2026, and arranged business of the House for the 9th week, ending Friday, 17th July 2026. Mr. Speaker, the committee accordingly submits its report as follows. Item 2, arrangement of business. Formal communication by the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you may read any verbal communication to the House. B, questions. In all, we've programmed 27 questions, 2 from Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, 6 Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, 3 the Governor of Bank of Ghana, 11 Minister for Energy and Grid Transition, 2 Minister for Foreign Affairs, and 3 Minister for Transport. Mr. Speaker, in all, 5 ministers and Governor of the Bank of Ghana are expected to attend upon the House to respond to 27 questions during the week. We have 2 urgent questions and 25 oral questions. Statements. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Order 91-2, Ministers of State may be permitted to make statements on government policy. You may also admit statements by members in accordance with Order 93. Both papers and reports. Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Order 159, bills may be presented to the House for first reading. However, for those urgent nature may be taken through the various stages in a day in accordance with Order 160. Pursuant to Order 97, Mr. Speaker, papers may be laid during the week. Reports from committees may also be presented to the House for consideration. Motions and then resolutions may be also taken. So, Mr. Speaker, as far as at committee level, Pursuant to Order 2674, the committee once again has attached to the business statement the list of pending referrals at committee for attention of leadership of respective committees. Currently, the total of 405 referrals have been assigned to 26 committees for consideration and report to the House. Conclusion. Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Order 2162 and subject to Order 67, the committee submits to the House the order in which the business of the House shall be taken during the week. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, that's the business statement ably presented. The floor is now open for comment on the business statement. Yes, Honourable Asafoye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the committee for a good job done. Mr. Speaker, my first point, when you look at page 8, the draft questions or the itemized questions for foreign affairs is 3. Mr. 608, 609, and 825. But Mr. Speaker, it appears as though they have only numbered 2 questions for the foreign affairs minister. I don't know if the correction will be made or one question is the wrong question. I don't know. That's number 1. Mr. Speaker, my next point is this is about the 6th time or 5th time we are having the question for foreign affairs minister, this particular or same question being repeated or captured on the business statement. I don't know what is happening with the minister. It appears as though since the very first day, this question has been appearing and reappearing and reappearing and reappearing, but the minister hasn't made any effort to appear to answer the questions. And most of the time, the Speaker, when it happens like that, the potency of the question or the timeline of the question, dies down. And then by the time the minister gets here, there is no point in responding to the issue again because it's long past. The last one, the Speaker, has to do with the guidelines that were set here for statements to be admitted. The Speaker, the majority leader gave a clear timeline or guideline for the statement, 2 pages, even font size, spacing, and all that. It appears we've breached all that, and statements that are being read on the floor here, the Speaker, are way outnumbering the approved number that was given and all that. Because I want the business committee to avert their minds to some of these guidelines and approved procedure that has been given by the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Honourable members, once we agree, that one, I won't leave it for the presenter of the business statement. Once we agree that if the statement brought to me for admission is not in conformity with the form and the page, that statement should be disallowed. Then I'll religiously police that and ensure that it is done. So the rest, I will leave it for him to come and answer. The second part of your request has to do directly with me because I am in charge of admitting the statement. So if the sense of the House is that any member who contravenes the font and then the length of the statement, that statement should be disallowed. I will do that religiously. And that is the point that I'm making and giving such notice to the entire House. Yes, Honorable Boama.
Most grateful, Mr. Speaker. Let me commend Honorable Richard Achampong for presenting the business statement on behalf of the Leader of the House. Mr. Speaker, I have one major issue of concern, and that is with regards to the House Committee's report. Mr. Speaker, we had the House Committee report to be taken by the House which had been on the order paper for so long a time. We've not been able to take it, and now you can't even find it in the order paper. The House Committee report is supposed to speak to critical issues of concern of members of this particular chamber. We have members complaining a lot about the state of affairs in terms of facilities available to them. And so we have been in expectation that leaders will bring this issue for the House to deliberate, so that at the end of the day, we can find solutions to the concerns of members. So I'm wondering why we don't have it in the order paper. And so I'd like to find out from the leader of government business why we don't have the House report available in the order paper and why it has been dropped. That's my first. Mr. Speaker, my second area of concern is generally the outstanding reports. You've talked about a lot of referrals to the committees. Day in, day out, we are referring more reports to the committees. And yet, the speed with which referrals are made to committees, we are not getting that same urgency in bringing them back to the House for deliberation. I want to find out from the leader of government business, what is leadership doing? What is the leader of government business doing in ensuring that we get these papers readily for us to deliberate? We don't want a situation whereby when it is time for us to rise, then we are being pushed as House to be considering a lot of papers and referrals late in the day towards the night. And so leadership should take some of these concerns for us so that we can deal with issues that are referred back to the chamber for us to look at it before it is pushed on us at a later point in time. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the availability. I thank you.
Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I commend the Business Committee and Honorable Echampo for the presentation made. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the President for the initiative, the cleanup, President John Dramani Mahama for his initiative. However, Mr. Speaker, I think that we need the Minister for Local Government. We need the Minister for Local Government in this House to tell us how we are going to have a sustainable, clean city or nation, rather than the President having to declare take such a clear roadmap. The Minister should be programmed to come and give us a clear roadmap for how we are going to have a sustainable, clean nation.
Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with the Business Committee. Mr. Speaker, about a year ago, that I personally gone to the table office to check. That question has been admitted and transmitted to the minister. It's about the poor network that we are experiencing by the network providers in this country. Mr. Speaker, over a year, and we are still experiencing poor network services by the communication providers. So I want to plead with the leader of the Business Committee, and Honorable was in the report, that that question has to be tabled for the minister to come and answer. Only 6 questions. If that question that was asked about a year ago had been added, I'll have my peace, and the consumers would also, be told what MTN and Vodafone, or Telcel are doing to ensure that we enjoy better services, Mr. Speaker. This is my concern. A question for over a year. Mr. Speaker, it's worrying. It's worrying. So I expect the minister to be here to provide responses to this very important question that is on the hearts and minds of the citizenry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for indulging me. I'm grateful.
Yes. Honorable Habib.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to find out from the chairman of the Business Committee when we should be expecting the media budget. because this sitting is mid-year budget sitting. So when exactly should we be expecting the mid-year budget? Whether it's a review, it is something that he has to present, and whether the minister is coming to ask for more money or not. And then, Mr. Speaker, the other thing is that I mentioned to the chairman of the business committee, Ghana participated in the World Cup, a mega tournament like that. We were not briefed before we participated. Now we exited the tournament, and the minister haven't briefed us. So if you can schedule the minister to appear before us, and then he can be able to brief us at least what happened, because there are a lot of things that is going on. Mr. Speaker, you need to protect, because the majority chief whip, I don't know, I will not move to, because you see, a lot of things happen at the World Cup, and a lot of Ghanaians were not happy with the way we play, the way supporting base went. Even the president informed us that free tickets were going to be given, but those tickets were sold. Are you aware? So, minister should come and brief us. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Chief Whip, Minority Chief Whip.
Yeah, Speaker, I see on the front page of the report 27 questions scheduled. And from bench, if I have your attention, 27 questions scheduled. You've given prior notification that media comes 23rd. And you know what the tradition has been. Once media comes, we have a defined programs to be taken in the chamber. In this house, we've taken average 77 questions per week. I don't accept why we have only 27 questions, especially where we have a number of questions already pending, a number of them pending. If these questions are not taken, they will lose their usefulness. As Speaker, the orders permit the chair of the business committee to present supplementary statement. So I humbly want to suggest to Chief, when you are here, take notice, report to your boss. This is not acceptable. 27 questions is not acceptable. Out of the lot, we can't accept 27 questions. And these ministers, they won't come to the house and answer questions, and all these questions are still pending. So 27, I'm saying, well, that's fine. So I'm saying that so yourself, you know, way to this house. How many have you presented so far? So you should be speaking to the ministers who are supposed to shepherd these bills. They must find their way to this chamber. Very, very important bills. Speaker, these are very important bills. They are very, very important. I don't want to go through the litany of bills that are pending. So, Majority Leader, Deputy Leader, you are here. You should pass this message on. When, in the other world, when we were here, we often have a prior meeting with the ministers. And I am aware you've also taken a cue from those actions. You should be engaging the ministers to come and shepherd their bills. It's very disappointing. Let me conclude on referrals. Speaker, I have seen the attachment the attachment to the business report or the business statement. We have over 400 referrals pending. That's an ugly history we are making. 400 referrals. And we are, every day we come with the business statement and we just attach an attachment to the business statement and say that we have this referral pending. So if you do a cursory glance at the attachment, you come to a conclusion that close to 70% of the referrals are merely annual statement by audit committee of various assemblies. I mean, for heaven's sake, how do we allow this to be pending all this while? Yes, I'm saying you laid them. We still have many of these committees, annual statements of audit committees pending to be laid today. And they will go and add on to the existing ones. Why? Why are we doing this to ourselves? We were here before. We were not doing this. You should take a cue from us. Take a cue from us. The Constitution mandates us to put together a committee by this House. You should be leading the charge. Majority side, majority front. Honorable Champion, stop looking at me like that. You should be leading the charge. Honorable Roxon, lead the charge. Support your deputy leader. By now you should be putting together the committee to be working on this. And you will not keep quiet and listen. You, I'm referring to you. So, Speaker, it's not the best. We can get clinical in terms of what we want to do. And look at our other papers. We advertise business on the other paper that we are not ready to take. All these motions, I can go through them. Though the other people look voluminous, we are not ready to prosecute the business, and we just come and we are wasting papers and we are just printing. We are not concerned about carbon print. What is that? Front bench, majority front bench. You must be getting serious about this business, and the president is watching you. No, I insist. Get clinical with your business. As we go, I insist. 400 referrals. We can't be proud about that. We can't be proud. Roxon, what do you want to say? I can sit down for you to speak. I'll come back. I can yield to him to speak, and I'll come back to it. 400 referrals, and you are saying I'm not pioneer. Is that your defense? You should be telling us what we will be doing to deal with the referrals. That's how you should be speaking as a majority side. Speaker, so your 27 questions, you should be sitting down. Well, you can stand. The speaker will not recognize you anyway. The speaker will not recognize you. You can keep standing. Speaker, 27 questions out of 200 questions. At one breath, you are talking about 24-hour economy. You have 200 questions, and you are proud to only advertise 27 out of the 200. And you say, minority, we should just keep quiet and be applauding you. We will not applaud you today. Get serious. Move your ministers to come to the House and shepherd their bills. Over 69 bills, and just about 5 bills. Why? We must get serious in this country. I can sit down for you to speak.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, please.
Majority Chief Whip, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, my counterpart knows how we manage this House. It's most unparliamentary for him to refer to the majority bench that we are not serious. Yes, we should get serious means that we are not serious. With all due respect, I'll never do that to you. No matter the circumstances, I'll never do that to you. So don't do that to us. The over 400 referrals that you referenced, 135 alone was referrals, documents, papers laid just last week, Mr. Speaker. So he has also forgotten that the local government committee alone
laid 75 of their reports 2 weeks ago, and their reports pending for plenary to take. So by all means, raise the issues. The issues were raised at the business committee today. Unfortunately, you were absent. I didn't take it against you. So if we come to the floor, you want to raise it, yes, add them. No, I'm serious, add them. But don't run the front bench under the bus. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. Please. So withdraw that portion. I plead with you that withdraw that portion and make your comments, and let's make progress in the matter.
Speaker, my
Honorable Minority.
Speaker, with respect, I just want to conclude. Speaker, may I conclude?
With all due respect, you have concluded before I gave the floor to the Majority Chief Whip. Comment on the business statement should not be a debate between two people.
Speaker.
So I intend calling
Speaker,
the presenter of the business statement to respond.
Speaker, with respect, my colleague had made pleadings and he's made presentation to me. In fact, I had not concluded. So I am a gentleman. I have no problem withdrawing a statement that you find that you are sensitive to. So, but I'm saying to you, with respect, Chief Whip, I'm just saying to you, you know how committed I am to getting things done in this chamber. You are not at the front bench. You should tell him. So I'm saying, we cannot, Speaker, it is not right. It has never happened. 400 referrals, no, I'll come back to the point. 400 referrals, it has never happened in this house. But unreservedly, I withdraw those words that you are not serious. Yeah, you are serious, but get more serious. Get more serious. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, any response to issues raised, if any?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issues as I captured here, I'll start from the bottom. I think a lot has been said by the Chief Whip on the issue to do with the referrals. In fact, there are quite a number of referrals out there, but we've also come to realize that some of these referrals have already been looked at and reports have been submitted. In fact, as the Chief Whip was saying, local government alone did about 77 reports, and there were many others. My honorable brother did not take out those reports that have been submitted here. He just gave the previous number, I believe. But it has come down. I do agree with you that a lot of work needs to be done, and then it needs to be sanitized as well, because we have stood here many a times where people will say that reports have been worked on and therefore should not be put here as a referral. That cleanup is ongoing. I'm working from backwards to the beginning. I mean, the issue of World Cup, I think the World Cup is still ongoing, and I do believe that in the next few days or so, the World Cup will come to an end, and the minister will definitely be here to give a report on the World Cup in terms of Ghana's entry and then exit and performance. On the issue of the media review, the date is Thursday, the 23rd of July. That is when the finance minister will come here to present the media review. As to whether it is statement or what have you, that is in the hands of the finance minister, and I cannot preempt that. I think the House report, my understanding is that it will be taken before we actually rise, and because of some peculiarities of the reports, it's been scheduled to be taken before we rise. The issue of admissibility of questions. I think I do agree that we have a lot of questions out there, and we have requested various ministers to come here to answer questions. But unfortunately, for the foreign minister, for instance, he lives out of a suitcase more or less. So it's been difficult to get some of them to come here and answer the questions, which we are working on. I think some of the issues that have been raised here, even by the very people who attended the business committee meeting, were issues that were discussed. But then, of course, the usual politics will also have to play its role. So those questions or those issues have been raised here. Mr. Speaker, I think these are the number of issues that I captured. If I've left anything out, I stand to be reminded to answer that. Thank you.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to express my own views regarding the matter before the House, the Business Committee report. Mr. Speaker, in the statement by the second Deputy Minority Whip, we did not hear anything about the Minister of Works and Water Resources coming to this House to brief us on any policy of government on sanitation. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that the Minister of Interior, when he made a statement on this flood situation, indicated to this House that government will come with a comprehensive policy on this flood situation and how to address it. Mr. Speaker, I submit that it is not enough to declare 2 days for the purpose of cleanup. The cleanup exercise is not a solution. The solution is a well thought out policy on sanitation. That is what we need as a country. And it is becoming too late in the day. Any government determined to solve a problem the magnitude of which we saw would, without delay, announce a national policy on sanitation. Enough of the knee-jerk posture, the ad hoc measures. Mr. Speaker, we don't need them. Thousands lost property. Maybe because they are not public servants, they are not politicians, we are not talking about it. Many poor people lost their property. Many poor people lost their business. We need the government to rise to the occasion and address the nation on this matter. Mr. Speaker, it will surprise you to know that even after this matter, we have not seen any national mourning. People have died. Mr. Speaker, people have died. People have died. It is important that some official statement to commiserate, to address it. Mr. Speaker, we've seen other disasters where the president announced a national mourning. This we have not seen. Mr. Speaker, that is very important. Mr. Speaker, the second issue has to do with accountability of the 350 million that was approved by this House. Mr. Speaker, we have heard of the disbursements. we, the minority, supported government when it brought the application to the Finance Committee. It was not a majority decision. It was a unanimous decision by the committee.
Honourable Minority Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
The rules are clear on the issues of accountability.
Mr. Speaker,
what has that got to do with comment on business statements?
Mr. Speaker, if I land, please bear with me. I'm laying a foundation to the very point I want to make.
No, sometimes.
Mr. Speaker, let me finish.
Sometimes I feel that we are abusing our
Mr.
rights.
Speaker, I'm not. I am delving into the matter. Mr. Speaker, what we want as we the minority want the Minister of Finance to be programmed to come next week, Mr. Speaker, to brief this House on how the 350 million has been disbursed. Mr. Speaker, because it's a national emergency, we were expecting the majority leader to program the minister, because, Mr. Speaker, he came under Article 177.
Honourable Minority Leader, don't you think this will be appropriate question for the Finance Minister to come and answer?
Mr. Speaker, there are several mechanisms. A question, a ministerial briefing. I am holding the view on behalf of my colleagues that the circumstances we find ourselves, our expectation is that the majority leader will program the Minister of Finance to brief the House. Mr. Speaker, we say so because last week, when NADMOD was sharing some items, it came to light that at Nima and Mamobi, they were sharing baked beans. When we raised it, they now told us that the baked beans was not part of the procured items. It was a donation. Mr. Speaker, we don't know who and who have donated. This is an important matter that we believe the Finance Minister should brief this House. So, Mr. Speaker, you should take note. Mr. Speaker, the next issue.
Minority Leader, let me recognize the Chief Whip. He's been on his feet for some time.
Mr. Speaker, you want to recognize the...
Yes.
Very well, that's fine.
You can go to... Mr. Speaker, I arise on grounds that the minority leader is grossly misleading the House. Grossly misleading the House. Mr. Speaker, I rise in pursuance of Order 122. Mr. Speaker, one, the allegation that government has not been responsive. You made that allegation. That was your opening comment, that the government has not been responsive and that government should be responsive. It's totally unfounded. The government has been so responsive and moved with alacrity. You actually criticized government last week, Mr. Speaker. Government has secured 350 million. Government has secured 350 million from the contingency fund, subject to the approval of the Finance Committee, which was granted, and has since been disbursed or in the process of being disbursed. And so the claim that government has not been responsive in this matter is totally unfounded and mischievous. Number two, Mr. Speaker, just last week, as many as 3 statements were admitted by you, Mr. Speaker, and read on this floor. Those statements attracted a lot of interest from members. The statements were essentially about the consequence of the flood that we suffered, including the victims that we lost. And messages of condolences were extended to the bereaved families. So for the minority leader to get up and say that no formal statement had been made in respect of the life that we lost is totally unfounded. A message of condolences need not come from a minister only. So this sort of politics must stop. Mr. Speaker, number three, the minority leader is on his feet and talking about procurement in terms of emergency. Is this the first time we had an emergency? During COVID and during the drought that we experienced in the north when you were in government, you got funding also from the contingency fund. Did you come to brief this house about procurement? Did you? So please, we have been here for some time, so don't get up and say things and you think that the record will bear you tomorrow. Speaker, I urge that the portions of his comments regarding this matter be expunged.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the point that was raised by the Majority Chief Whip, which makes direct reference to my leadership then as a Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, may I remind him that on the matter of the dry spell, the respected Minister of Agric, Brian Achampon, as he then was, briefed this House. I was a leader of government business. Mr. Speaker, the minority requested for a breakdown of all procurement, and he did. It is part of the records of the House. Mr. Speaker, two, the issue before this House, which I am raising, is that we have not heard the government making a declaration with respect to what has happened to those who lost their property and those who lost their lives. And I am calling on leader of government business to brief this House on steps being taken. I'm not making an allegation. I'm using language, attention to be paid to language, that he should brief this House on what steps government is taking. Mr. Speaker, in other disasters, we heard of national mourning, 3 days of national mourning. Nothing has been said, and that is what I want the minister to brief this House on. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the contingency fund, the Chief Whip himself is saying that we gave approval for withdrawal to be made from the contingency fund under Article 177. Mr. Speaker, in this House, we have been told that indeed, because the account was garnished, government withdrew the money from other sources. Again, may I call on the Majority Leader to program the Minister of Finance to come and brief this House which government accounts they withdrew them funds from. And two, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice should come and brief this House which entity, which party, which agency, which institution, which individual garnished government account. The full dossier must be furnished this House. It's very important because, Mr. Speaker, to garnish a contingency account of the state is very serious. The Attorney General must fully brief this House how the AG was involved and how come, and indeed whether or not they have appealed the decision and what is the status of that account. Mr. Speaker, the next point I want the minister, the leader of government business to brief this House has to do with, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Agric. Mr. Speaker, may I plead with the leader of government business to program the Minister of Agric to come and brief the House on the status of the Nkukon Kitinkiti initiative. Mr. Speaker, the minister is on record to have said that the beneficiaries have consumed the beds. Mr. Speaker, we want clarity as a House because, Mr. Speaker, this was supposed to be an entrepreneurial venture where they are supposed to pay back. May we know the status of it, Mr. Speaker. And finally, Mr. Speaker, finally, yes, Mr. Speaker, finally, can the Minister of Justice and Attorney General be programmed, Mr. Speaker, urgently to come and brief this House on the activities of IYOKO? Mr. Speaker, we are a house with oversight responsibility. Mr. Speaker, there are things that are happening. If we don't talk about it today, tomorrow, the other side may be wearing the shoe. Mr. Speaker, the Director of Communications of our party, Miracles Abuaji, was arrested and detained by IYOKO at the airport. Mr. Speaker, he has been in custody for over 3 days. We are not against accountability. We are against the Rambo style. Mr. Speaker, our colleagues should not be up in arms. It can be them tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, what is happening to Miracle Abuaji is not good for our democracy. The Attorney General should come to this House and brief us of the situation. There, IYOKO will arrest people if the person was in the country, has traveled, he's coming, then in a Rambo style, he's arrested. Mr. Speaker, at the airport, detained for over 3 days. Mr. Speaker, and now they are demanding properties worth 55 million cedis before he's granted bail. Let's be careful, my dear political colleagues. Let's be careful, Ghanaian political leaders. It can be somebody today. There is an election ahead. You can never tell. Don't let us encourage some of these excesses. And when we talk about it, don't look at it with a partisan lens. It can be you. Today, we hear what is happening at Gold Board. There are all manner of allegations at Gold Board. We know all manner of allegations in various state institutions. You are also in charge of the coffers. You are in charge of the press. Be careful. Don't ask somebody. He has a wife and children. Already the man was affected by the flood. He lost everything. He's already traumatized. Miracles Abuaji is already traumatized because of the flood. Then to worsen it, you detain him for 3 days and you say if he wants his freedom, he should bring properties worth 50 million cedis. How do you do this? And this is not something that must attract a partisan reaction. It is a human rights issue. The Attorney General must come to this House and brief us on what is happening. Mr. Speaker, it's not good for the politics of our country. Some of my colleagues here, Mr. Speaker, sometimes when they speak on critical issues, they get invitation to IYOKO, to BNI, and all of that. We've kept quiet about it. Now it has gotten to our party executives. We shouldn't do this to ourselves. Mr. Speaker, we shouldn't do this to ourselves. IYOKO can investigate.
Honorable Minority
Mr.
Leader.
Speaker, let me conclude on it.
Please conclude.
I'm concluding on it. Mr. Speaker, IYOKO can investigate. IYOKO can do its work with a human face. An invitation to Miracles Abuaji to appear before IYOKO would have solved everything. In any event, the man was already attending upon them. Anytime they invited him, he was there. Why the Rambo star? Our friends opposition should not be happy. Because you see, Mr. Speaker, not long ago, I was there. And some of them, when they cried upon some of us, we listened and we stopped some excesses.
Honorable Minority
so we'll
Leader,
keep quiet.
please land safely.
Mr. Speaker, I'm landing. Miracles Abuaji deserve justice. The country must not shut its eyes on the excesses by IYOKO. And Majority Leader, please program the Attorney General to come before this House and address us on what is happening at IYOKO. The human rights abuses, we will not take it as a House.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker.
I call on Majority Chief Whip, Honorable Habib, please resume your seat. Why?
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, I believe you've given me the opportunity to speak in my standing as a member of this House. You didn't give me the opportunity, I believe, to respond to the matters arising from the business statement, because my comment too is contingent on matters arising from the business statement, attracting comments from the minority leader. Mr. Speaker, the minority leader is on his feet, suggesting that the Attorney General should be invited to respond to queries from him regarding the performance of functions of his office or agencies under him. Speaker, the particular matter that he has referenced, perhaps he hasn't read. And so let me reference the formal response from Yoko. Because you see, we are members of a community of reading men, and I want him to read. Mr. Speaker, the Yoko, please. Mr. Speaker, Yoko had this to say. Mr. Speaker, on 13th July, Mr. Speaker, Yoko released the following statement. Mr. Speaker, arrest of Dennis Abuaji, aka Miracles, and Gerard Appiah in respect of Ghana Cedis 55 million investigations into the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization. Mr. Speaker, Yoko says that the Economic and Organized Crime Office wishes to inform the general public that it has arrested Mr. Dennis Edward Abuaji, former Executive Secretary of the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, in connection with ongoing investigations into alleged financial and procurement-related irregularities at the Secretariat. Speaker, the Yoko proceeded to further say that the arrest follows extensive investigations commenced by Yoko after receiving a petition from the current Executive Secretary of IMCCOD requesting further investigations into a forensic audit conducted into the affairs of the Secretariat covering the period from 1st August 2022 to 2nd February 2025. Mr. Speaker, the charges that Miracles Abuaji and Gerard Appiah faces include conspiracy to steal and stealing, using public office for profit, causing financial loss to the state, dissipation of public funds, defrauding by false pretenses, and money laundering. So, Mr. Speaker, the minority leader has no right under the sun to suggest that where an investigative body has conducted a year-long investigation into a matter, has invited the suspects, and now has made a prima facie determination and is effecting arrest that may possibly lead to prosecution, the minority leader is on this floor saying that we should invite the Attorney General to come and respond to what? That we must not demand accountability from public office holders. Is it not the same man who stands on this floor and cautioning us that we as politicians we should be careful, and that it is the public servants who do all the things that we get blamed? And today when the public servant is getting blamed, you are saying that he shouldn't be blamed. So by all means we can do politics, but some of the things, Mr. Speaker, it must not be countenanced on this floor. It must not. Now, in respect of bail, nobody is saying that you should bring property worth 55 million Ghana cedis. Yes, 55 million Ghana cedis. They are saying that for somebody to stand surety to assure the body and perhaps the court that you appear and defend yourself in the matter, the person should be able to establish that he has property value to the amount of the subject of the charges. So it's not about bringing a property and all that. He knows that. The 55 million is not money that is supposed to be carried to Yoko. He shouldn't put out these mischievous lines. And so he's a lawyer, he's my classmate, and we practice together, we still practice. He should rather advise that the property be done. And if you think that the terms as offered for the bail are onerous, Mr. Speaker, like you have taught us, he knows that you can always go back and beat it down. So he shouldn't stand here and rather aggravate the situation of the suspect. It is not fair. It is not fair at all.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I think that the majority chief whip has every right to respond to me if that is his pleasure. But in so doing, much as he himself always admonish others on language use, he has to be measured. You cannot question somebody merely because you disagree with him and you say he has not read. Mr. Speaker, I take serious exception to that statement from him. Mr. Speaker, in the list, Mr. Speaker, in the list, I'm a senior in this house. In the list, I'm a senior in this house. And our practice and conventions and the values of this house require that you extend courtesy to your senior. Mr. Speaker, is the reason why we accord you every respect, because you are the presiding officer. When you say we should resume our seat, we are obliged to resume, even where we disagree with you. Mr. Speaker, those offensive words, I know he's a gentleman. If he's minded, he should withdraw them. If he's minded, I have never hesitated. I have never hesitated. Any day when I am required to withdraw, I do so. Mr. Speaker, the issue I raised, the burden of my submission, had to do with the excesses of Iyoko's actions.
Permit me to crave his indulgence to respond to your demand that I should withdraw the word he doesn't read.
Speaker, I have due regard for my leader. I withdraw the word community of reading men. I withdraw. Mr. Speaker, I further withdraw that he didn't read. So perhaps he read, but he glossed over the conditions given by Yoko for the arrest. So I withdraw that person. And I apologize.
Mr. Speaker, I've accepted it.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I've accepted it graciously.
Yes.
But Mr. Speaker, the point I need to clarify is that the bail condition, he contended that the demand by Yoko does not mean that there should be cash of 50 million. Mr. Speaker, Yoko is demanding 50 million worth of properties from the sureties. You are a lawyer, I am a lawyer. We know what it means where a state investigative agency demands
Honorable Minority
property
Leader,
worth 50 million.
with all due respect, I think you have made your points
Very
clear.
well, Mr. Speaker, thank you.
On
Mr.
this
Speaker, let
note-
me touch the last point.
On this note, the business statement
Very well.
as presented is accordingly adopted. Honourable members, once again, let me acknowledge the presence of a delegation from the National Assembly of the Republic of Namibia to the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana from 13th to 17th July 2026. Honourable members, they are here to hold interactive sessions with the leadership of the Business Committee, the minority and majority caucuses. They would also meet with some senior procedural officers of the parliamentary service during their study visit. Our visitors are Honorable Catamelo Widow Philippus, Honorable Matthias Sipipa Imbudu, Honorable Veino Tuhafeni Hangula, Honorable David Christian Igup, Honorable Evilastus Caronda, Honorable Henrik Liwela Likando, Honorable Ambrosius Kumbua, Honorable Nico Someip, Honorable Mr. Oscar Muyatwa, Mr. Resto T. Nakanyala, Mr. Esau Mbako, and Deputy Director, Security and Risk Services. Our members, we also have our members on your behalf and on behalf of the House. I welcome the delegation to Parliament and I wish them fruitful deliberations and stay in Accra, Ghana. I also acknowledge Springs Preparatory School, led by Foster Amasianya, a leader. They are from Ho Central, they numbered 40. Honourable members, on your behalf, I also welcome them to Parliament of Ghana and urge them to have a fruitful visit. Thank you very much. Yes, Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, I want to vary the order of business on the other paper and take item number 18 on page 9. 18 and 19 on page 9. Motions. Thank you.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I would yield to the minority chief whip to respond to the application. But Mr. Speaker, if you look at page 25, motion 40, Mr. Speaker, it has been there for over a year. Today, Mr. Speaker, the deputy majority leader must ensure that we act on this motion. Mr. Speaker, this has to do with mass dismissal of Ghanaian youth who have added on to the unemployment situation in the country. If we don't speak for them, who else will speak for them? People who have been dismissed from the employ of the state.
Honourable Minority Leader, with all due respect, are you moving motion 40?
Mr. Speaker, the motion 40 has already been moved seconded by Honorable Kojo Oponkroma, and Mr. Speaker, the majority chief whip. The majority chief whip was the first person to have a bite at the dispatch box for his side. Mr. Speaker, we need to conclude on the debate. The last time at the conclave, the understanding, Mr. Speaker, let me finish. The last time at conclave, the understanding was that if Mr. Speaker is unavoidably absent, since we have electronical ways of getting the record, you can preside and hear the argument so that, Mr. Speaker, he himself will now do the ruling. Mr. Speaker, he does, yes, we discussed this at conclave, that since it was becoming difficult for him to preside personally, then any other deputy speaker can preside. Then electronically, the argument will be ferried to him so that he can make ruling. Mr. Speaker, people have lost their jobs for almost 2 years. If a House of Parliament cannot discuss this matter, then when can we discuss it?
With all due respect, you know certainly we cannot proceed on that
Mr.
matter.
Speaker, if you rule, I will yield to you.
Except that you want me to rule on it.
No, not at all,
If
Mr.
after
Speaker.
hearing the two of you, you want me to rule on
No,
it.
Mr. Speaker,
I'm likely to take that motion.
Very well. Mr.
Very
Speaker,
well.
I'm enjoying your smiles, very infectious smiles.
So let me hear the minority chief
Mr.
whip
Speaker, you
on the
hear him.
application.
Mr. Speaker, you hear him.
Yes.
But I would want to conclude by saying that I am yielding to you rather reluctantly because, Mr. Speaker, procedurally, once you have ruled, I'm supposed to yield. But, Mr. Speaker, the important matter, the question for the majority, a question that should prickle their conscience, your conscience, I mean, it should prick your conscience, is that are you watching the thousands who lost their jobs because you are not cooperating for us to resolve this unemployment situation? Thousands were dismissed.
Honorable Minority Leader, I'm holding it in order not to say what you wouldn't want me to say. Yes, Minority Chief Whip, the application.
Speaker, we should proceed as applied.
Very well. Motion numbered 18, Chairman of the Committee.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this Honourable House adopts the report of the Public Accounts Committee of the Performance Audit Report of the Auditor General on the procurement and maintenance of medical equipment in teaching hospitals. Mr. Speaker, this report was laid in the House on the 3rd of July 2025 in accordance with Article 1875 of the Constitution. Pursuant to Order 2293, the report was referred to the Public Accounts Committee for examination and report to the House. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Order 2294 of the Standing Orders, the Honourable Ranking Member, Mr. Samuel Atta Mills, chaired the consideration of the report for the period ending 2024, which relates to the period when my government was in administration, or when the chairperson's government was in administration. Mr. Speaker, the committee, in considering the report, held a public hearing and invited the Honourable Minister for Health, Mr. Kwabena Minta Akando, and his technical team from the Ministry of Health. And then we also had a technical team coming from the Ministry of Finance. Mr. Speaker, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the Minister and the officials who attended upon us. We also like to acknowledge the support that we continue to receive from the Auditor General, and also GTV and Parliament TV and other media handles who carry out our sittings live. Mr. Speaker, the audit examined whether the systems of planning, procuring, and maintaining of medical equipment ensure the continuous availability of functional equipment in our teaching hospitals. It also assessed underlying challenges and came out with recommended corrective measures. It covered the period from 2018 to 2023 and considered the position at Kolebu, Konfuanoche, Temale, and Ho teaching hospitals. Mr. Speaker, the committee found that the hospitals generally conducted needs assessments and used them in preparing their procurement plans. The problem, therefore, was not simply the identification of need, but the deeper problem was inadequate funding, insufficient equipment, maintenance failures, weak technical capacity, and prolonged equipment downtime. Several critical machines, including CT scans, MRI machines, and other diagnostic equipment, were either inadequate, obsolete, or non-functional, according to the reports. Mr. Speaker, the committee was particularly concerned that Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, despite its national importance, has never had a cardiac catheterization laboratory. And we are told that as a result of this, one medical doctor lost his life. Patients requiring urgent cardiac intervention may therefore have to be transferred to Accra, with the obvious risk that they may not even survive the journey. The committee recommends that the Ministry of Health prioritizes the procurement of such specialized facilities and engage the Ministry of Finance and the Ghana Medical Trust Fund to secure the required funding. Mr. Speaker, also purchasing medical equipment is only the beginning. Equipment must be maintained, calibrated, supplied with spare parts, and operated by properly trained personnel. And this, the audit found, was also lacking. The audit found instances in which equipment was damaged through mishandling. They also found that the biomedical engineers who are supposed to handle these machines do not consistently receive the specialized training required to repair sophisticated equipment. Consequently, hospitals remain heavily dependent on third-party vendors, sometimes at considerable cost to the hospitals. Biomedical engineering units also lack workshops, calibration equipment, specialized tools, and other basic logistics. Mr. Speaker, in some facilities, engineers had to borrow tools or outsource repairs, which could otherwise have been undertaken internally if they had these workshops available. Mr. Speaker, the committee therefore recommends a coordinated national retooling program for the teaching hospitals. It is not just a matter of putting it on paper and reading it out to citizens. What we want to see is for these equipments, these actions to be put to, we want to see these equipments so that citizens can benefit from the equipment. Mr. Speaker, we have heard that the Ghana Medical Trust Fund is supposed to support in that regard, but we haven't seen any concrete steps being taken by the Ghana Medical Trust Fund to do this. So the committee supports, Mr. Speaker, centralized procurement of high-value medical equipment, where this will achieve the standardization that is lacking. It will also achieve economies of scale and stronger contractual terms. Mr. Speaker, such procurement contracts must, one, extend warranties, comprehensive maintenance and service agreements, assured availability of spare parts, and in-country technical support, hands-on training for biomedical engineers, as well as protection against the procurement of equipment which becomes prematurely obsolete. Mr. Speaker, you hear that maybe we got an equipment in a particular year, but then you go and look at the equipment, the fresh or the brand new equipment that we bought is, say, 10 or 15 years old. That is what we are talking about, that we should protect against the procurement of equipment which becomes prematurely obsolete in no time. The committee further recommends closer collaboration between the Ministry of Health, the teaching hospitals, and the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, so that their needs assessments are harmonized and scarce resources are directed to the most urgent needs. Mr. Speaker, where hospitals also lack the immediate capacity to maintain capital-intensive equipment, we believe that they can carefully structure outsourcing, leasing, or a PPP project. I remember very well that 37 used a PPP project to acquire the first MRI. It was 37 and the Fidelity Bank. I believe that if for any reason the hospitals are not able to maintain capital-intensive equipment. They are not able to buy these capital-intensive equipment. The Minister of Health, with the support of the Ministry of Finance, should give them that opportunity to go enter into a PPP to make these facilities or make these equipments available for use by citizens. Mr. Speaker, these arrangements must, however, protect the public interest and guarantee continuous service. A non-functional medical machine is not merely an idle public asset. It may mean a delayed diagnosis, a lost source of hospital revenue, or in the gravest concern, or in the gravest case, a loss of a human life. So, Mr. Speaker, on this note, I accordingly urge the House to adopt the report and its recommendations. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, any seconder of the motion?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion. And in seconding the motion, a few comments on it. After this audit, there have been a few changes in the equipment situation. I know that last week the CAT lab at Akolebu was commissioned, and the ones in Tamale and Konfuanoche are being worked on. But this was a report at the time that we got, this was up to the year 2024. Situation seemed very grim. But I'm glad to say that improvements are going on, and we need to have these improvements so that people could go to our hospitals over here for cures instead of going outside the country to do it. I think most of if you look at the recommendation, let me move straight to the recommendation. It says over here that the committee noted that several hospitals outsource maintenance services at significant cost due to limited in-house capacity, inadequate tools, and weak logistical support for biomedical engineering units. This contributed to high levels of non-functional equipment and adversely affected service delivery, revenue generation, and professional training. And it says over here that in the interim, consistent with the models adopted by University of Ghana Medical Center in Eurocare, the committee supports outsourcing maintenance of capital-intensive equipment under favorable terms. The committee also recommends that the hospitals, through the Ministry of Health, embark on a comprehensive retooling program. And the final conclusion, the committee recommends to the House to adopt this report on the performance audit report of the Auditor General on the procurement and maintenance of medical equipment in the teaching hospitals, and the recommendations made. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion as moved by this Honourable House, and to comment on the report of the Public Accounts Committee on the performance audit report of the Auditor General on the procurement and maintenance of medical equipment in teaching hospitals. Mr. Speaker, when the hospital management team appeared before the Public Accounts Committee, one striking thing throughout the various presentations was that as a country, we lack maintenance culture. I mean, there's a poor maintenance culture that runs through virtually all hospitals across our country. Mr. Speaker, and that is why it's important that as a country, we introduce a mandatory preventive maintenance schedules and annual maintenance audits for all the major medical equipment. It's a bit intriguing, Mr. Speaker, to find out that most of the medical equipment that we invest in have become obsolete. I mean, spare parts are not available. You get to Kolebu, you get to Konfanochi teaching hospitals, and you realize that equipment that ought to arrest major conditions like cardiac arrest are unavailable. Mr. Speaker, this cannot be allowed to go on, and that is why, for me, we seriously need the mandatory preventive maintenance schedules and annual maintenance audits in our facilities. Mr. Speaker, one striking thing is that you can have these equipments, but personnel who manage these equipments, if they are not motivated enough, if their salaries are not streamlined, if they do not feel belong, would largely affect the operationalization of these equipments if we are to invest in them. Mr. Speaker, biomedical engineers in this country receive inadequate specialized training, and this results in frequent dependence on third-party vendors. Mr. Speaker, I am a lab technologist myself. I did lab technology as my first degree, and when I speak to colleagues in the industry, the sentiments is that we seem to have left them. I mean, we do not have a structured payroll system for biomedical engineers, and this seems to be affecting the output. Mr. Speaker, so we must commend the committee for recognizing that biomedical health professionals deserve that same level of attention and motivation as other health professionals. Mr. Speaker, we need to also expand the conversation to include all health or allied health professionals, especially medical laboratory scientists, medical laboratory technologists, whose works underpin diagnosis and patient care. Mr. Speaker, it is for this reason that we are recommending to the Ministry of Health that modern medical equipment is not only as effective as the professionals who maintain it. It's important that we highlight the need for equitable remuneration, noting the disparities in salaries and conditions of service affecting the morale and retention of skilled professionals. And it is for this reason that we are calling on the Ministry of Health, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and the Ministry of Finance to engage allied health professional bodies to review their salary structures and career progression. That is the only way, Mr. Speaker, we can support this whole Mahama Cares program, getting an agency to be buying equipment and to support our various health facilities. If you invest in buying these equipment without the adequate training of personnel, biomedical engineers, Mr. Speaker, you have virtually done nothing, because in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years to come, we'll still end up in this chamber commenting on the need to have a relook at how we manage and maintain our medical equipment. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to ask this House to adopt the report ably moved by the chairperson for the committee. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Deputy Minister for Health. Yes, Richard Achampo.
Mr. Speaker, the committee has 3 reports, and after that, we will do that of economy. So I just want to suggest that we'll do 3, so that we can take all. Is
that the agreement?
Speaker, there is no disagreement to that.
Very well. Honorable Deputy Minister for Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to comment on the committee's report. Mr. Speaker, in terms of equipment that were mentioned, the CT scans, the MRIs, the cardiac catheterization labs, Mr. Speaker, the ministry has taken this very seriously, and the government has also taken this matter rather seriously. Mr. Speaker, currently, as I speak, we have 3 cardiac catheterization centers that have already been, sod has already been cut, and projects are ongoing. There is one in Konfanochi in Kumasi. There's a second one in Tamale that has already started. And only last Thursday, a cardiac catheterization lab has been commissioned at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Mr. Speaker, it is not just a cardiac catheterization lab, but it is in fact a cardiac center. Mr. Speaker, the data shows that 43% of all mortalities in Ghana is coming from non-communicable diseases. And non-communicable diseases, mainly diabetes and high blood pressure. Some of these and most of them develop complications. So when they develop complications, they need rather critical care or rather high-level specialized equipment, and some of which we have the report has already discussed, like the MRIs and the CT scan. Mr. Speaker, Mahama Cares is supporting in furnishing the hospitals, especially the teaching hospitals, with these equipments. That is why we just commissioned one last Thursday at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Mr. Speaker, Mahama Cares is also supporting patients in terms of when patients get these diseases and they get complications out of it, they oftentimes have difficulty paying even for their hospital bills. So Mahama Cares is supporting the patient with funds. Mahama Cares is also looking at the people or the critical staff that will manage those high-level equipments. So Mahama Cares is currently supporting the training of high-level health workers to manage these sophisticated state-of-the-art equipment. Mr. Speaker, the government is also working with the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons to train specialists to come and support these centers and these equipments. Only 2 weeks ago, Mr. Speaker, we inaugurated 100 nurses that are now doing bachelor's degree in nursing in fields, sophisticated fields or critical care fields like emergency medicine, cardiology, nephrology, endocrinology, and critical care. These are the staff that are going to man these hospitals or these highly sophisticated equipment or these highly sophisticated units in our hospitals. Mahama Cares is also working on research so that everything we do will be research-based and will be evidence-based, so that the 43% of all deaths in Ghana will be reduced. Hopefully by next year, we will be at 30-something rather than 43%. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the health workforce, which the report has also flagged, and my colleague on the other side has also flagged, Mr. Speaker, the health workforce has been a very dicey situation because we inherited a huge backlog of health workforce. He mentioned the biomedical engineers. Mr. Speaker, we inherited over 70,000 nurses at home. We inherited another maybe 40,000 doctors at home. We inherited a huge number of biomedical engineers who are sitting at home. Mr. Speaker, we just opened recruitment for nursing, and we are now recruiting nurses from 2021. So the group from 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24 are still at home, and we are just now beginning that recruitment. I'm speaking to the report in terms of health workforce. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable member, please address the chair.
Mr. Speaker, so we are working on the health workforce as we gradually clear the huge backlog that we have inherited and then continue to train people who are able to man these state-of-the-art equipments. And we are also working on a special purpose vehicle to manage and maintain these highly sophisticated equipment. Pretty soon, I'm sure the minister will be here and that special purpose vehicle will be discussed. So, Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I would like to commend the committee and also commend the good work they have done. Thank you.
Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to contribute to the report of the Public Accounts Committee. Mr. Speaker, on the performance audit report on procurement and maintenance of medical equipment in our teaching hospital. Mr. Speaker, performance audit reports are very important. It gives us an opportunity to assess the adequacy of equipment that we do have in our hospitals. Mr. Speaker, it also helps us to be able to know the competence level of the individuals that are manning these equipments in our hospitals, as well as, Mr. Speaker, access, and whether it has also been able to help improve the healthcare of the ordinary Ghanaian citizen. Mr. Speaker, so it requires three major prone approaches towards that. And one of it has always been said, and been said by all the members here, is the workforce. And I also heard the Deputy Minister also speaking to the workforce that they inherited and are at home. Mr. Speaker, our complaint always as leaders obviously cannot rely on the number of people that we've left at home. It is even an opportunity for you that you came to meet people who were trained and, Mr. Speaker, could be readily ushered into the workforce and be able to man these ones. That ought not to be a complaint. The complaint that you ought to be saying is, why have we neglected the construction of hospitals that could adequately accommodate them? And now we are struggling to have these hospitals that were started completed. Mr. Speaker, these individuals you talk about that you are going to recruit, where are you going to send them? You are going to send them back into the same hospitals that you say they are overstretched, they are choked, and there are no spaces to put them in. Build a new hospital so that we can have access to recruit them into it. So these, we came to meet them, and the rest, Mr. Speaker, has nothing to do with that. But consequently to the report, Mr. Speaker, most importantly, Mr. Speaker, if you read a portion of the report, and I would want to talk about that, it says that there was no management responses to the auditors when they came to the facilities. Mr. Speaker, that is very worrying. The worrying aspect of that is that these individuals that we are also trying to help, our health professionals who are manning this equipment, do not take, Mr. Speaker, the work of the auditors and the effect of these auditors very seriously. They come there, they don't attend to them, they don't interact with them, so that they can put together a comprehensive report that would help policy makers be able to implement good policies to help those individuals that are using the machines, as well as the people who does access healthcare services in these hospitals. So it's important that, Mr. Speaker, we also make a case to them that when these auditors come, they must as well be able to open their doors to them. Most importantly, Mr. Speaker, we've all been talking about maintenance of these equipment and the rest. Mr. Speaker, it's important. Maintenance and planned maintenance is important. But most important, Mr. Speaker, it is not only about the maintenance. You can have an equipment that will be 20 years and well maintained, but, Mr. Speaker, it will not be fit for purpose in the current dispensation that we have. We cannot be having a 15-year-old equipment in this 21st century that would be used in doing proper specialized procedures for our people. We must also be looking at the numbers, Mr. Speaker, of these equipments in the country, and also how modern or how equipped they are to greater technology that we are having now. We live in the AI world now. Everything moves at a faster speed. So it's important that, Mr. Speaker, we look at those aspects also. But consequently, and most important, Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Minister talked about the construction of 3 cathedral centers in this country. And we made mention of Tamal, Mr. Speaker. She made mention of Kumasi and Accra. They are short-cutting. We would want to urge you that completion of these ones be implemented very quick, so that we can have it. But, Mr. Speaker, to rate, I found that all of these equipment and the over-concentration in these traditional areas are too much. We can use some of these centers that we are building as pool centers to be able to develop the country in its totality. We are struggling to post medical doctors to rural areas, to other deprived communities in this country. Mr. Speaker, why can't we have greater access to the people so that they can also be benefiting from it, so that we can also open up? I remember when I was young, we used to have GI and Quanta, where we used to have an orthopedic form of decentralizing to make sure that the country is pocket around, developed, Mr. Speaker, into specialized areas, and be able to even pull people and specialize people to these areas so that we can have prosperity and economic growth. And with these few words, Mr. Speaker, I would urge the House to adopt the report and the recommendation in it
And Honorable Deputy Minister, relay the information to your minister so that proper policy planning in terms of these things can be done. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Doctor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to urge this House to support the motion ably moved by our Honorable Chair that this House adopts the performance audit report of the Auditor General on the procurement and maintenance of medical equipment in teaching hospitals. Mr. Speaker, this is a performance report on the Auditor General's report that ended by the period 2019 to 2023. A lot of items were identified as area of focus. One of them that the auditors highlighted was the need for planning for the medical equipment needed in these teaching hospitals. Now, this is very important because if you don't plan and you just go on a procurement spree, there's a likelihood that you'll buy equipment that will not speak to responding to the needs of the said teaching hospital. And so in assessing the performance, at least by the time of the public hearing of our committee, we had observed that a lot of progress had been made in this regard. And I'd like to commend the Deputy Minister on her submission and ask that there is more to be done in going into this specific item of planning for the medical equipment needed. Now, it's obvious that when you go to most of these teaching hospitals, we have a backlog of obsolete equipment that are occupying a lot of space. And indeed, if you go to deeper assessment of them, you can say that there's the need for upgrading them, but also that's evidence of causing some financial loss because of the rapidity with which these equipment change and gets upgraded. Mr. Speaker, one other critical area of the performance report is procurement according to needs assessment. Now, the quantities were observed as low because the quantities were inadequate for these teaching hospitals, particularly some specific equipment as CT scans, MRI equipment, and other related critical equipment. And so, some of them, in fact, apart from being insufficient, some of them were also seen as non-functional. But Mr. Speaker, it raised a procurement issue of cost of these procurement items. And so, the discussion revealed that we have to look at how these items, these critical items, are procured. Do we go for bulk procurement of them to save costs? Do we go for high-end quality? What are the tax arrangements in our own procurement in regards to these critical medical equipment? And it's been found that the tax element on these medical equipment is actually high. And so as a country, we need to check where we are on these and take a decision on what we can do to ensure that the quality equipment that we so critically need for our health care services are procured at cost that is affordable to the buying agencies. Mr. Speaker, there is no point over flogging the issue of training of personnel, but I argue that it's important that as we do the needs assessment for equipment, we do a complementary needs assessment for the manpower that are required to be able to man these critical equipment. Indeed, if you go to buy the equipment, you don't have the personnel to man them, then it's as good as not going to buy it in the first place. And so to be sure that we efficiently use our country's resources, this committee's report recommends that we should match needs assessment of the equipment together with the manpower needs. And then when we've done this, there's a need for us to be innovative about continuous training of the manpower that are required to be able to man this equipment. Mr. Speaker, those are the critical elements that I wish to highlight on this report, and I wish to urge this House to support the motion and accordingly adopt the committee's report. I thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, the question is, as many as are in favour of the motion say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Yes, let's take motion number 19. Chairperson of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this Honourable House adopts the report of the Public Accounts Committee on the performance audit report of the Auditor General on the availability and accessibility of fertilizers to smallholder farmers in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, this report was laid in the House on the 1st of July 2025 in accordance with Article 1875 of the Constitution. Pursuant to Standing Order 2293 of Parliament, a referral was made to the Public Accounts Committee for examination and reports to the House. Mr. Speaker, and pursuant to Order 2294 of the Standing Orders, the ranking member, Mr. Samuel Atta-Mills, chaired the consideration of the Special Audit Report for the period ending 2024, which relates to the period of the administration of the chairperson. The committee, in considering the referral, met with the Honourable Minister for Food and Agric, Mr. Eric Opoku, the Honourable Deputy Minister, Mr. John Dumelo, then the technical team from the Ministry of Agric. The committee is grateful to them for attending upon us, and also grateful to the Auditor General in the Audit Service, for GTV and Parliament TV as well, and all the media houses who help us reach many Ghanaians who are really interested in what we do. Mr. Speaker, the audit covered the period from January 2019 to December 2023. Its principal purpose was to determine whether fertilizers were available to smallholder farmers and whether those farmers could obtain them in the right quantities at the right time and in the appropriate formulation. The committee found that the Ministry of Food and Agric had undertaken useful soil assessments and identified fertilizer blends appropriate for particular crops and ecological zones. The ministry also incorporated the fertilizer requirements of farmers into its planning and budgeting purposes. That positive finding must, however, be considered alongside serious weaknesses in quality control, procurement, and distribution. Mr. Speaker, the ministry did not always ensure that fertilizers supplied to farmers met the required specification. The audit identified that in 2021, fertilizers supplied to farmers in some parts of the Upper East region, specifically Garu, Timpani, Boko, Pusiga, and Binduri, did not perform as expected. The required quality inspection had not been undertaken in these affected districts. The fertilizer, according to the Auditor General, was supplied by the Agric Manufacturing Group Limited. And based on their findings, they were asked to replace these fertilizers. The committee was informed that 1,000 was replaced in February 2024, and then the 2,000 was replaced, 2,000 bags of fertilizer was eventually replaced in June 2024 from 2021. Mr. Speaker, while these replacements are welcome, the larger issue remains. Farmers should not have to lose an entire farming season before defective inputs are identified and replaced. Quality assurance must take place before distribution and not after farmers have suffered losses. Mr. Speaker, secondly, the ministry planned to supply approximately 1.5 million metric tons of fertilizer during the audit period, but supplied only 1.02 million metric tons, and this represented just 64.5% of the planned quantity. In 2022, Mr. Speaker, 27 out of the 45 selected suppliers failed to supply any of the quantities allocated to them. Yet the procurement arrangement did not require adequate performance security or bonds to protect the state and the farmers against supplier defaults. Mr. Speaker, the reason was because they used the expression of interest criteria of procurement, and that did not require a performance bond or performance security. And so that affected the supply of fertilizer in the year 2022. Mr. Speaker, thirdly, fertilizers which ought to have been available by February were frequently delivered from May onwards. This was after the commencement of planting and after the optimal period for fertilizer application. Mr. Speaker, the audits noted that so that by February they can start supplied in the right quantity and delivered at the right time. So, Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I respectfully urge the House to adopt the report and its recommendations. Thank you very much.
Honourable members, motion move, report presented. Any seconder? Yes, Honourable Atamils.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion, and in so doing, just talk about a few of the highlights. Just like the chairperson said, this was the scope of the audit covered January 2019 to December 2023, and it focused on the ministry's procurement and distribution of fertilizers. Some of the issues that we found were the fertilizers not being delivered on time. The auditors found that for the audit period, the quantity of fertilizers the ministry supplied did not meet the planned quantities. COVID-19 pandemic. I hope we don't have another.
Motion move and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to comment on this motion. Mr. Speaker, and in considering on the motion before this House to adopt the report of the Public Accounts Committee on the performance audit of the Auditor General on the availability and accessibility of fertilizers to smallholder farmers. Mr. Speaker, I want to stress on a point made evidence-based planning. Today, they are encouraging continuous nationwide soil mapping and periodic updates as soil conditions change. Mr. Speaker, Madam Chair talked about some quality assurance failures that led to defective fertilizer reaching farmers. And the figure 3,000 bags supplied in the Upper East region, which did not meet specifications. Mr. Speaker, there's a need for a call for independent quality testing before fertilizers leave their ports and before distribution to farmers. Mr. Speaker, supply it shows that the procurement is not merely about awarding contracts, and it's important that we ensure suppliers deliver the right product in the right quantity and at the right time. Mr. Speaker, performance bonds and supplier evaluations should become the standard practice. And Mr. Speaker, on this note, I urge the House to adopt this report, ably moved by the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee of Ghana. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the motion, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is accordingly adopted. Yes, available leader.
Mr. Speaker, We are left with motion number 20.
Very well. Motion
After that, I
number
will say
20.
to other people addendum.
Chairperson of the committee, you may move motion number 20.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this Honorable House adopts the report of the Public Accounts Committee on the follow-up report of the Auditor General on 3 performance audits concerning 1, the regular stadia in Ghana, and 3, the administration of scholarship by Get Fund. Mr. Speaker, those reports, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Order 2294 of the Standing Orders, the rank for the period ending 2024, which relates to the period of the administration of the chairperson. Mr. Speaker, the committee is grateful to the Honourable Ministers, the Public Accounts Committee. We'd also like to acknowledge the support of the Auditor General and Ghana, GTV, Parliament TV, and other media houses in helping us carry out our activities. The Environmental Protection Agency had fully implemented 25 out of the 29 recommendations that the auditors recommended today.
The Hansa should capture the entire report as you
so
take
I
us
should
to
go
the
ahead,
conclusion.
yes, and conclude. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, a follow-up audit is important because the value of an audit lies not merely in identifying the problem, but also in ensuring that corrective measures are taken as recommended. The record before the House is mixed. There has been substantial progress in the regulation of the small-scale mining, limited